do anything for Halloween this year. Then it's been a while since I've been live. I understand that. There have been things outside of my control, but don't you worry. I've been working very hard behind the scenes, making all sorts of fun projects for you to learn. And I'll show you some of the things that I've been doing while I've been not live, and also show you some things that are coming up in the near future. And if you have any questions for me, please always feel welcome to ask. If it's something I can answer, I will. If it's something I can't answer, well, we'll deal with that when the time comes. But I'll wait a few minutes here for people to pop over from pre-chat and notifications. Good morning, Judy. Happy Monday. Happy Halloween, everybody. I suppose if I back the camera up a little bit, you'll be able to see baby Bjorn. He is sleeping next to his mama on the table. Here we go. You can see him better now. Hello, Marlene and Sharon and Judy and Thea. Hi, Marcia. Hi, Judy. So if we had a hurricane here about a month ago now, 33 days, give or take, and a good portion of the coastal area of where I live has been massively destroyed. Hi, Stephanie. Hi, Judy. And hi, Dee. And while there's been massive oil notice off and get the Wi-Fi up running, as things are getting fixed, sometimes things break in the process, and my power and internet have been very intermittent over the last month, and so we've had boil notices going on and off still. And to be quite frank with you, it's been hard, and I'm not even somebody that was hit as hard as others, but it's still been hard. And so to commit to going live every day was just impossible when I didn't have internet and didn't have power. So it made sense to try to take a break from stressing out about it, because there's so much stress in the world and there's so much stress in my community right now that I just thought not having to put that extra pressure on myself every day, a lot of books, working on my website, and all those other things that are important. And like I said, they were things that were outside of my control, and it's just, I can't even begin to tell you how incredibly stressful it is here. Hi, Joan and Steffi, Jane, Geraldine, Shara, thanks for joining me live. If you've been following along, you'll see that I have released a bunch of new fun things lately. I know not everybody pays attention unless I go live, so I wanted to show you some of those things. The internet's going in and out. I would love to hear. Yes, I've been writing a lot of blog post articles too. A post called Sweater Weather that you can read. If you go to my blog, let me see if I can go to my blog and just tell you there's quite a few new blog post articles too. I have been sending out emails as well. I did a new roundup of community projects, how to read crochet patterns, a guide to free crochet sweater patterns. All right, can you see and hear me now? My internet went out for a second there, but it only was out for a second, so let's see what's going on now. Thanks, Marcia. Do you mean the top I'm wearing? This isn't the sweater. This is a blouse. It's from my Amazon. You can find it on my Amazon shop though. Yes, you can do your gauge swatch flat in rows. However, you do run the risk of it not always being accurate. Sometimes there is a difference between what your gauge is in the round and in rows. So it is always a better practice to do your gauge swatch exactly as the pattern states. So if it's going to be a hat or a cowl that's knit or crocheted in the round, you are more accurate to do your gauge swatch in the round as well. And because hats and cowls are actually fitted items, whereas a scarf and a shawl are not, it becomes that much more important to get your gauge measurement correct. I hope that makes sense. speaking of which, I'm working on my next Introduction to Knitting course. Knitting course number 3 is going to be coming soon, and it's going to include a trio of 3 colorful hat patterns, all worked in 2 colors. And in that class, I will be doing a deep dive into comparing the in rows and in rounds gauge measurements so that you can see the differences and find out how to do patterns in both ways, and also compare and contrast the size differences between the gauges. Hi Carrie, the Yarny Elephant. It's a cute name. All right, so keep asking your questions. I will interject with answers if I have them, or let you know when I will have them. In the meantime, I thought it might be a good idea to remind you of some of the new patterns that have come out recently. So I came out with this hat and cowl set called the Aloe knit hat and cowl set. You can find the patterns on my website, and you can find the video on my YouTube channel. Also, they are connected, so if you go to the pattern page on my website, it will also embed the video there as well. Before, a while back, I did the Honey Rose hat and cowl set, and then I did it in 2 different weights of yarn. So I showed you how to knit it, how to crochet this one in both worsted weight and number 6 super bulky weight. I have towels here too. Where are they? They fall on the floor. And in the pattern, you get both hat instructions and both cowl instructions. Now, I did think that it was a good idea to share with you how to do that in rows also, but sometimes stitch patterns are super different between how you work them in rows and rounds. So it did not make sense to make that all one pattern. So if you want to know how to do this stitch pattern in round, go to the Honey Rose pattern, and it'll show you how to do it in the hat and the cowl and in 2 weights, and there's a video tutorial for it. And then while I've been not live, I did do a new pattern and a new video on how to do that same stitch pattern in rows, and this is the honey pot scarf. And number one, that stitch pattern is absolutely gorgeous flat in rows. It's a little more complicated to crochet this one in rows than in rounds, because you have to work back loop, you have to do back post double crochet on the wrong side rows and front post double crochet on the right side rows. And so when you're doing it in the round, everything is facing you and it's all front post double crochet. So if you're new to post stitches, I would recommend starting with this one and trying that. And then after that, trying this one, and it is absolutely gorgeous. What's interesting though is it's not a reversible stitch. It's not identical on both sides, but it's beautiful on both sides. Isn't that amazing? And so I thought it was a good idea to not only give you instructions for making this scarf, but then in the pattern, and there's a video tutorial as well, and it's embedded with the pattern. In this pattern, I give you and a full-size afghan, and I show you how many rows to do. So the instructions are all the same. It's just about how many times gauge. Then you have the instructions for doing all 4 of those patterns with yarn estimates for all 4 of those patterns in number 4 worsted weight yarn. I think this would be absolutely gorgeous for a baby blanket or an afghan or a rectangular wrap, and it's certainly beautiful as a scarf too. I designed it in a way so that we didn't have to add edging, even though I think any of the fringe edgings would be amazing on here from Crochet Power 2 Edgings book, but I did it in such a way where I did it. When you read the pattern and you watch the video, you'll see what I did. I did something a little unique on the edges here so that your edges end with a post stitch instead of ending with a chain 3 that counts as a double. You know what I mean? And then I started with a row of foundation double crochet and ended with a row of double crochet and post stitches to mimic each other. So that's not always something you see either. When a pattern starts one way and you don't start in the middle and work your way out for symmetry, or start your way in and join for symmetry, it's very rare that a pattern can be identical on both sides when one side starts and one side ends. So I'm kind of proud of that. I think this is really a spectacular. It is a little bit of your work to see them if you're unsure of where to go. Natalie wants to know, when you do a gauge swatch, do you have to waste the yarn, or do you undo it and use it for your project? That's a personal preference, Natalie. Some people absolutely do not like to reuse the yarn. Some people like to keep the swatch for their and to attach it to the page where you've left all your notes about what you did in making a motif type project. Weigh a lot of stuff we sell or donate or gift, and so it's really special to keep those swatches as a memory of every item you've made. However, if you want to unravel it and use the yarn again, you can. Oh, I was just answering Natalie's question. Sorry. Hi, Edna. Hi, Chris. Thank you. It's good to be back. Good to see you too. Okay, so what next? Okay, the Crochet Design Challenge Cardi Vest is coming very soon. I have the pattern done, the sample done. I need to do photography out later this week, and that's going to be called the Iona, I-O-N-A. I'm working on a half circle shawl to do demonstrate a whole article and subject and exploration on surface crochet for how to add edging not only to the bottom edge of a fabric, but how to add edging anywhere you want. So I'm going to use this half circle shawl that I made, and I'm going to apply tiers of edging to it in other colors with random stitch patterns from Crochet Power 2 Edging's book. Won't that be fun? So that's coming up. And then, okay, I told you I'm working on a new knitting course, and so this will be the third course in the Introduction to Knitting series. And in this course, I decided to do what I consider the simplest of color work, meaning that where you slip stitch, you slip colors instead of carrying two yarns at once. We're only doing one color at a time. You're only carrying one color around at a time, but you're getting different patterns from slipping some stitches and knitting others. And so in this course, you're going to get three different patterns using two colors, and I'm going to show you how to knit them flat in rows for gauging or for making any other project that you want to knit flat in rows, and then how to make these three hats. So I'll give you a sneak peek if you'd like. Here's one of the hats, and these are easy. I consider these, we've got a spiral, and then we've got these overlapping bricks that kind of look like T's, and we've got polka dots. And I'm halfway through the videos on them. The patterns are done, the handout is done. So I'm definitely moving along, probably another week or so, given no major hiccups. Aren't they beautiful? So that one's going to be like polka dot, really large polka dots. This one's like little offset bricks that are T-shaped, and this one is a spiral. And like I said, each one of these only uses one color at a time. There's no carrying the yarn. So I figured, as a segue from learning how to knit flat in rows and learning multiple stitch patterns in the first course, to then learning how to knit in the round in the second course and doing different stitch patterns, combining different knit and crochet, or combining different combinations of knit and purl to make multiple stitch patterns, and then learning the sampler cowl, which, by the way, that sampler cowl from the second knitting course is now available as its own standalone pattern. I know not everybody needs the course, and some people would prefer to just have the pattern, so I have released that pattern, and I couldn't grab the sample in time for this morning, so I'll show you the photo. This is the pattern that I just released. That's the pattern that I just released this morning as a standalone pattern. Some people need courses and some people do not, and that's totally fine. Let's see. Hi, Donna. Good morning. Hi, Karen. Yeah, so that course will be coming soon, and one color for this row of polka dots and one color for this one. You could change the color of the polka dots as well. So those will be other options we can discuss. Spectacular, absolutely. I just went with pure, plain and simple, two different high contrast colors for teaching purposes. But yes, there are so many ways you could change that up as well. Does anybody have any other questions? And as far as the beach goes, I'm sorry to say that I have some really disappointing and sad news to share with you about that. It's going to be a very long time before we can get back. You know, it's not national or international news anymore, so I know a lot of you don't understand how really devastated this much debris in the water, in the sand. Even at Wiggins Pass, from the little bit that I've seen from news coverage, from aerial cameras, and from boat cameras, the entire sea oat and mangrove berm between the parking lot and the beach is gone. Which, I mean, our driftwood forest is obviously gone, but even the live trees and plants, everything except the palm trees and the big cypress trees is gone. Um, Nancy, that pattern came out a while ago. The Alicia, talk more about that tomorrow, are available for volunteers. They're not even taking volunteers yet because it's so dangerous there. All of the buildings are destroyed. Like the bathhouses, all of those things are destroyed at Wiggins Pass. Is there a tutorial? I'm guessing you mean a video tutorial? No, there isn't a video tutorial yet, but it will be coming soon. So, and all of our beaches are closed. Number one, because of how dangerous the sand is. There could be building debris together in the morning. When the weather cools off a little bit more, I will definitely try to think of things like that. But at the moment, all of our local parks are closed, not just the beach ones, but there's so much damage to all of the parks that I actually did a Google search last night to see, so I could give you an update, and all of our parks are closed right now. As things open up and it makes sense, I will try to take you guys outside somewhere, but it's still really bad out there. Yes, there is flesh-eating bacteria in the water. That is correct. Several people have died and many people have become very sick, so not supposed to go in the water. That's correct. I don't even know what to say. I'm still so traumatized by all this. We don't. Most hotels are closed on the beaches. All of our beachside restaurants are closed, or destroyed, or flattened. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate it. It's just, it's really overwhelming still. I went for a little drive yesterday to see how close I could get to the beach, and I could not get to the beach. I got about a mile from the beach, and I literally still saw a 30-foot boat upside down on top of a dock. Like, they haven't even gotten to all of that stuff yet. Marlon's good, Lori. Thanks for asking. Like, the debris's not even gone yet. The power's not back on everywhere. The water's not back on everywhere. So many people are still without a place to stay. It's overwhelming. But there's going to be lots of opportunities to help people now and going forward in the future. And like I said, I want to help rebuild my beloved Wiggins Pass Beach as soon as that becomes available too. And I'll share all of that with you when the time comes, if it's appropriate. If it's too sad, I'm not going to share it either. But yeah, I'm just going to give you updates as I have them. Yes, Val, the people and the animal devastation is horrific. The business devastation is horrific. It was mass destruction down here. Massive destruction. It looks like bombs went off everywhere. Yes, it's that we have a very strong, loving community and everybody's coming together, and that negativity into your lives either. But, you know, because we do a lot, because I've always shared a lot of nature with you guys, I feel like and you've grown to care about my area too. I feel Southwest Florida strong. Absolutely, Judy. Yep, Florida's going to take a while. It is. It is. But it will be back. It will be back. And baby Bjorn's doing just fine. Look at this sweetheart. He goes with everything. Val gets lots of snow. Yeah, thanks, Grace Vintage Model. I agree. Marcia, how can we help? There are places to donate. There's places, I can probably put together a list for you. That off the top of my head. Thanks, Nancy. I appreciate it. Oh, is a baby waking up? He's so sleepy. All right, so I've reminded you about some of the new patterns. My books are still available. Might not still available. And when I share, I do get a very small commission on that, as well as on the Amazon shop. And neither of those cost you anything. Um, I believe voting's going to be fine here, Donna. Yes, I'm pretty sure that should be fine. FEMA is here, yes, and Red Cross is here. There are also some local charities that are just taking in money and handing it out directly to people. But I want to make sure I get the name right before I share it. That's why I don't want to say the name right away. Are my books available in stores or only online? That's a great question, Marlene. I have the ability to distribute my books to any stores. If you would like to ask your local yarn shops to carry my books, they can. They just have to contact me for wholesale. And I am able to sell any of my books to the shops. Otherwise, my books are all available on Amazon all over the world. Some of them are available on Barnes and Noble, and they're available on my website as well. Stuff going on down on Fort Myers Beaches are doing amazing things down here too. Restaurants giving away free food every single day and taking volunteers to deliver food. Yep, there are a lot of donations, charities are being sent out as gift cards. That's correct, so that people get money immediately. Thanks, Crazy Vintage Model. I appreciate it. You know, I'm helping where it's appropriate. I'm helping with people that I know. I have several first-hand knowledge friends who lost their homes, including Marlon. Marlon lost his home. The friend that he lived with, they lost their home, and they're staying with his mother now until they can get a new place. And there's nowhere to rent anywhere either right now while they're looking for a place. And it's going to take over a year for their house to get fixed again. So even Marlon's been displaced. Like it's very close to home. One of my best friend's sister lost everything. Another friend of mine lost everything. Another friend lost her business, her home, and her car. And you know, thank goodness, I guess. Thank goodness I lost so much of my home and belongings earlier this year, and that I have so much in storage that I don't need right now. I've been giving people access to everything that I have in storage and just taking my stuff. Do I need anything, Karen? Thank you. I appreciate that so much. I really need your support through buying my products and stuff. If you want to help through Patreon, if you want to help through buying my patterns and books, that's all very helpful to me. Yeah, it's hard right now. Everything's hard down here. And with all of the technical issues that I've been having and all the trauma, yes, everything's hard here too, for sure. Hi, Jeannie. Good morning. But supporting me through my patterns and my books and my affiliate links and through my Patreon is the best way to help me, for sure. All right. Well, you get lots of benefits through Patreon, Angela. That's only for the first tier. The first tier, you do get a free pattern. In the second tier, you get a behind the scenes live stream, which I did last week. Hi, Anna. And then in the third tier, you get a you get a handwritten note card from me. And in the fourth tier, you get a 15-minute one-on-one phone call, video chat call with me. So there's lots of really wonderful benefits to all the levels of Patreon. Oh, thank you, Nancy. Thank you so much. Yes, Jeannie. Thank you, Nancy. I appreciate it. I think Baby Bjorn has let me rub his belly. Oh, you sweetheart. Such a sweetheart. Ah, yes, thank you. Does anybody have any other questions? I'm also still trying to find the right fit for a yarn company to work with. I want to make sure I find the right one because, you know, I'd like to remake all of the patterns that I made in, you know, the KO yarns. I'd really like to remake all of those in new yarns so that you have new yarns to make them with as well. I know yarn substitution is such a tough subject for so many people, and I think it would be really great if I could remake my yarn, remake my all of those patterns in new yarns and offer this. So just still trying to find a yarn company that would be interested in partnering with me for that. So fingers crossed I can find that. That would be great too. Marlon's doing okay. Thanks, Jeannie. You know, he's still displaced, living on someone's couch because he lost his home in the storm. I mean, it's tough. It's tough for a lot of people right now. Yes, Lion Brand is wonderful to work with. And I do use their yarns a lot. They sponsored the yarn for my newest book, Crochet Power 2 Edgings, and I think it turned out so beautiful with all their yarns in it. Thanks, Angela. Little Knits Yarn Company. I don't even know that one. You know, I haven't been looking at other yarns for like 8 years now, so I'm kind of new to looking at yarns again, but just looking for the right partnership for a long term. That would be really nice. Or maybe I diversify and just keep working with this one here and that one there. I would really appreciate that. You know, any brainstorming is good when you're trying to figure out new things, right? There's a baby. Will you come say hi? You got to see how sucky this little baby is right now. You show everybody how sucky you are. Look at that sweetheart, huh? Is that not the cutest, huh? Is that my baby? That's my baby. You want to say happy Halloween to everybody? Happy Halloween! Okay, I won't torture you anymore. I can't resist when he's sucky like that. It's so sweet. So sweet. Oh, he's been so traumatized from the hurricane too. He is right next to me all day and all night now. He doesn't do very much at all independently. He's right next to me, and when I have to leave, he sits at the door and waits for me to come back. It's kind of sad. It's sweet, and I don't leave often, but you know, he'll get better too. We've just been through so much trauma in the last month or so. Anyway, thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy day to spend a few minutes with me or with us. And I hope you enjoyed seeing all of the new exciting patterns that are out right now, the new videos that are out right now, and the upcoming things that are coming very soon as well. So many exciting things going on. If you have any questions, even after the show is over, always feel welcome to come back and leave your questions in the comments. I get notified of those throughout the day, and I do reply to them as often as I possibly can. What else was I going to say? If you like my channel, consider subscribing. There's a subscribe button below. And if you click that bell notification button next to the subscribe button, you'll be notified immediately every time I go live or release new content. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And don't forget, we're going to have links to everything I talked about today in the video description. So if you want to find out what we talked about, everything's there as well. Thank you all so much for your continued patience and support as we figure things out after the storm here. We'll get back to normal soon. We will. Everybody eventually does, right? A new normal or time to create, share, and inspire today and every day. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow for Shawls for Sharing Make Along. Bye-bye.